What's going on, Billy?
How we doing, Elliot?
All right, man. All right.
Where are we going today? What road are we going down?
Oh man, I don't know.
Single lane, but passing's allowed.
Yep, yep. I think that's the key to keep this fun. I have something on my mind,
Okay.
and I want to use the word leadership, but it ain't leadership. It's more like maybe management. And I guess how frustrating it can be. This is the Main Responder Podcast. Real conversations about work, the pressure, and the lives shaped by service. There's no single lane here, no script, just honest talk. Let's get into it. We take time and create core values. We use these words that you think are important. They make sense at the time. And you want the troops to buy into that. But do they ever?
I mean, let's hit on a couple. Respect. Let's look at some of them. Respect, fairness.
Yep. But even before we do that, I'm trying to think. You've worked at other agencies before.
Yeah.
You had core. I'm sure they did the same thing, right? I'm trying to think if I ever really gave a shit.
I'm going to second that. I don't know if I gave a shit what the core values were, but I had a level of operation, a level of respect.
Your own values.
Of my own values and where I wanted to go with how I treated others, how I represented myself and how I represented my family and how I represented my agency.
Yep. And I can't help but think some of that is just how you were raised, how you believe things should be. When you manage people, it gets very frustrating when people don't do the seemingly simple things that one would do just to be polite. Love thy neighbor. I'm going to use an old example here that was something that came up often, peeing in the toilet seat.
Man.
Dude, we used to have, and I'm going to use the word globs, which is not usually what you would use with the consistency of a urine description. It was like sticky globs of urine that used to be on the toilet seat at work.
Serious dehydration.
I'm talking about Sahara level.
Oh, man.
It was disgusting. And I was like, man, somebody here's got diabetes. You know, that's what I used to say.
Somebody's got something.
We're gonna swab that and send it to the lab because there's some health issues. But how do you not police up the drips? Like that's just not. What if I'm running in there in an emergency and I gotta go in there and drop a deuce? You know what I mean? Maybe a liquid deuce. Who knows? I'm running.
Whatever. You're not looking twice.
You're not looking twice, man. It's emergent. And so I'd have to sit on that.
You're sitting in it.
I just can't imagine that I would just let that go without cleaning it up. That's gross. And that's just a little thing, right? That's not a big deal. What about you got one?
I'm going to piggyback right off of that because you're talking old school from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Way back. I'm talking to present day, where we're at, where I'm at.
Yeah.
When I go to the bathroom, if I even drip a little bit, I'd lift the seat.
Yeah,
Trust me, I lift the seat. If there's any drip anywhere on the rim, on the floor, before I flush, I'm grabbing a piece of toilet paper. I'm wiping. I'm cleaning the rim. I'm cleaning the floor. It's in the toilet and it's flushed. Basic common courtesy.
Yep.
And I've been in there where that has not happened prior to my entrance.
Yep.
And it's disappointing.
Here's another little example. You drop a deuce. You use all the toilet paper. You don't change the roll.
Or you leave two flaps left.
Right.
Well, come on. I didn't finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's some passive aggressive shit, I feel like. I don't know.
Or laziness.
Or laziness, yeah.
It could be either way.
It could. I guess it's depending on the mood. Oh, man, dishes.
Oh, we're going there.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how this is in fire departments. You know what? I bet you they're pretty squared away.
They probably have it up on their dry erase board. Who's cooking?
Yeah.
Who's cleaning? Who's putting away dishes when it's done?
Yep.
I'm gotta be. Okay, hold on. This is kind of a side funny. Do you think they make their beds? If somebody goes around and makes the rack? Or I don't know, like when you're done. So your shift is over.
Yeah.
You've done 4 days. Are you stripping the sheets and making the bed for the next person? Or are you just stripping the sheets and leaving it a bare bed?
Yeah.
Or is there a laundry guy like the low man on the totem pole has to come in, or the end of the shift?
Right.
Low man on the totem pole is going through and stripping the racks.
Yeah.
Making the beds.
You know, it seems like it's pretty good. I would say that you strip your sheets and the next person comes in and sets their own thing up.
Man, I'd love to phone a friend and find out.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I think you said this recently, leaving things better than you found them. Why would people come to work and just not care and not use that philosophy? Oh, let me clean this up, leave it a little bit better. You go take a leak, you probably leave it better. Let's just use the gelatinous urine
I think that's a great one.
Let's just use that one.
Yeah.
Right? So you come to work and there's always this gelatinous urine glob on the seat and it starts to annoy you. Clearly it did if this was a true story that ever happened to anybody, had to live through it. Clearly I did, but it starts to annoy the person, right? And so what happens? They get frustrated because they come back to this gelatinous spot. And what do? I mean, you go out and you vent, right? You find your buddy and you start to vent that thing. Then it becomes a bigger issue. I hate gossip, and you know what? Gossip is gossip. That it happens. And especially in the police world, right? What do we see? Like out in the street, you get two neighboring agencies, car to car.
Cruiser spooning.
That's a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause I've been in those and I've talked about gelatinous pee spots. Then you're in a negative space, right? And you're going down that road.
Animosity.
Brews. You're pissed. And then you're having that conversation and the other person is listening. And then you just realize and you say something ridiculous. Like, man, that place sucks.
Simple as that.
Now you've gone down a whole different road. You're making the problem bigger. It's still about a glob of pee, but now we've taken our minds to a place where like, you know what, that place sucks. And then you go down more of a negative road and it makes your shift maybe a little bit longer. Maybe you're not nice to the next, person you have contact with in a call for service. Maybe you're not nice to the next person that comes on shift or the next person you see that's part of your department. And I don't know if that's right or wrong. Maybe it's human nature, but it was avoidable if the person who peed policed up the pee. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And so how many things out there, how many little topics, how many little annoying things that happen, toilet paper, dishes, you name it, all these little things.
Garbage, dirt on the floor, anything.
How many of those things happen that send, people down this negative space and how impactful that potentially is,
It's a big spiral that could cause. I mean, I'll relate it to rust, a little spot of rust on a car. And all of a sudden you're like, that's still a great car, but there's that one spot of rust on it. And you start to feel like a piece of shit. It's just cosmetic. It's got nothing to do with the function of the car. But the pee on the seat, that's a little bit more than cosmetic. The dishes, that's a little bit more than cosmetic. Because I think it does come down to the respect aspect of it. If you don't have the respect, man, at home, what do? Do you leave dishes on the counter?
Right.
And then somebody else cleans it up? Are you better than that person?
Right.
I mean, yes, we all have agreements of who's doing the dishes or, hey, a note, a text message, I had to leave quick. The dishes are on the counter on mine. I'm going to clean them when I get home. It's up to that person then who receives that text message to either honor that and say, okay, I'm going to leave those dishes for them. Or you know what? If they left in a hurry, the day is kind of hectic and busy and stressful, I'm going to clean their dishes for them and not make a big deal out of it.
Yeah. And the key to that story, I think, is always communication.
Communication.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm getting that text that says, hey, I had a bolt out of there, something came up, I was running late, it just shows that level of respect. I'm sorry, things aren't the way they were left. They're a little bit worse, but I take responsibility and I will take care of it. And 9 times out of 10, if I get that text, I'd be like, you know what, bro, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Yeah.
So,
and then you trade off of goodwill. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Sorry. And instead of that negative road, glob of pee, we're creating a different positive interaction.
Up.
Yeah.
We're moving up. People are lifting each other up. Like you said, I've got you. Next time that person leaves something out or doesn't send that note, whether it's home, whether it's work, you see, oh, I know they must have just left on a call, or I know they had to run quick to take the kid to dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
No text needed. I already know.
Yeah.
I got it. No animosity is stricken. Nothing. A good deed is done and returned. Somebody comes home, somebody comes back to work and just feels that relief of, because there wasn't an issue of, hey, why didn't you clean up after yourself? Yeah. Or the exact same way of, just so you know, I cleaned your dishes for you. Do you have to point it out? Tone.
You mean in that passive,
aggressive? Yeah. Going back to that, the tone and tact of it.
Yep.
Can go either way. With it. So communication and respect, I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah. And I guess the point right here is that sometimes it's the little things. It's just those little things. And I really like how you said that the communication is key. Take that ownership. And I think that always helps to soften it. Listen, I've been guilty of all of that, not communicating in the best way. It's funny how these little things can really just magnify issues and the issues become other things. You end up getting frustrated. You end up kind of having the negative thought and you end up blaming it maybe on the uniform you're wearing or the place where you work. And with a lot of things, oftentimes it is absolutely not that. It's something that sent you down a path of like, what the fuck? Really? Dishes, I mean, something so silly.
Yeah.
I think it's avoidable. And communication, I feel like communication ends up being the solution to just about everything.
It's, the solution and the problem. Lack of is the problem, and then proper is the solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of circling back to the beginning, where does it come from? What changed along the way? What influenced them to think one way versus the other? Not obviously. I'm not blaming parents. I'm not looking for, a deep dive on family history, but where does it come to that point on respectful communication and good social interactions? And interactions, I'm not talking about, talking face to face, but like you said, leaving something better than you found it. Where does that come from? And why is it lost on some?
Yeah, that's the question, because you can, you can talk about it. People will say yes. And so, and even change. But one of the things I've always noticed is people change for a certain amount of time.
They veer right back.
In a way, I obviously I can get negative too, but you and I have had this conversation. You're at a place for a career, you start to see that it's a cycle. You start to see the same things happen over and over, and you can it's like I'm Nostradamus here. I can predict it.
This career, this profession, if done right, you should walk out of it with a PhD in behavioral science and psychology. You should be able to walk out of this career with a PhD in it, because you see patterns and the psychological impact of these patterns, both on that individual person and those around.
Yeah.
And how they come and go, the inputs, the outputs, and everything else in between. I think it would be a very interesting study.
Yeah.
Or even a book.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
A book.
True.
For sure.
Yep. The two people that might be listening, don't pee on the seat and do the dishes.
There you go.
Stay safe, everybody.